On rallies like the York National, all the media attention tends to centre around the top few cars, but in rallying at this level, there are all sorts of competitions going on. Now, would you believe that 1/3 of the 120-strong entry are cars of one make? Now, their drivers accept the fact that they're not going to hit the headlines just yet, but there's no doubt that the biggest battle of the rally is back there among the Peugeots. Single-make competitions are now very much a feature of rallying. Vauxhall, Fiat, Lada and Skoda have all organised championships in recent years, though it was Ford who first thought of the idea with their Mexico Championship back in the 70s. 3 years ago, Peugeot entered the field with a competition for Group N showroom standard GTIs. The 1.6 and 1.9 litre engine cars run in different classes, but they all run on the same tyres. Like all one-make affairs, the basic idea is that the cars should be as similar as possible. That way, driver ability wins, not out-and-out power.
Right and left, watch the right-hander. Okay.
The entrants will compete in 13 events at home and abroad this year. Here on the York National, it was 50 miles of fast forest, and one of the hopefuls was learning an early lesson.
The first 2 stages we were all right, and then on the 3rd stage we were cutting a corner. There was a log pile on the inside, so I went out wide and clipped one on the outside. So we've bent the back axle a bit, so we've dropped a lot of time on the last stage. The boys are fixing it. We'll have another go.
It's not just about charging around the forest tracks at breakneck speed. The whole thing's been organised to put the drivers through a planned programme, and part of the learning curve means going back to the classroom.
Now, the most crucial part...
The lessons are graded from beginner to advanced and are included in the £70 annual club membership. It's all designed to develop team spirit. While the navigator learns about the stages, the mechanic is understanding the nuts and bolts in the engine. All the seminars are held midweek, which means you have to take time off work. The organisers believe this adds to the determination to learn, but to us it seems a bit harsh.
Heavy revs.
Pinch his nose firmly.
They do prepare
closed.
competitors for most things, even giving the kiss of life should it be needed. Most importantly, though, it gives the drivers the opportunity to improve their skills and to be able to sit alongside some of Britain's best, like Russell Brooks.
So if the corner tightens up unexpectedly, you can actually, on the brake, left foot on the brake, make the tail slide and slow the car down at the same time safely.
But what does ex-club member and now Works driver Paul Franklin think is the main weakness of the up-and-coming stars?
There's one big fault that everybody seems to have, and that's everybody wants to go flying to the corners far too fast. They don't think about coming out of the corner, they just want to get into the corner very quickly. And all I'm trying to do is to slow them down a little bit, so as they're going a little bit slow, but they come out of the corner a lot faster, and that's the way to go.
Perhaps the leading lady driver, Barbara Armstrong, was taking the advice a little too literally on the York National. But she is earmarked as a future star and was one of a group supported by the challenge to go to an ice driving school in Norway.
8 of us went out there and we all took our own cars out, and there was 3 different sections we had. We had ice training on a frozen lake, and then we had a rallycross circuit which was snow and ice, and then we had a forest section as well. It was about 2 miles of forestry. I learned to go, if I want to go fast I must go slow first and get my lines right, neat and tidy. But I really enjoyed it. It was absolutely a brilliant experience.
Halfway through the day in Yorkshire, and there looked to be no holding 20-year-old Richard Burns, who was well ahead of his rivals. The battle for second place was hotly contested. Initially, Steve Bennett was up there, but it wasn't going to be his day. After Bennett rolled his car in Langdale, the Cumbrian driver, Steve Eggleston, took up the chase. Welshman Einan Price had the added pressure of a Top Gear camera on board.
Keep it neat, hairpin right. Twisty 45s, left and right.
Although rallying is fun, at the end of the day it has to be paid for, but costs can vary considerably. The cheapest way is to buy a second-hand car.
My team's made up from members of our local motor club, basically. David Williams actually bought the car for me a couple of years ago, and all the other people are sort of Peugeot specialists and just local enthusiasts. The sponsors I've got at the moment are mainly through personal contacts. I've actually written to over 100 companies, large companies in the UK, and got very negative responses from them, so it's very difficult to actually cold call people. The prize money that we get back enables us to buy new tyres and petrol and hotel accommodation and things like that on events. So I've got to keep winning to keep rallying.
On an event like this, the winner collects over £400, and there's prize money down to 10th place, albeit only £50. And at the end of the season, the overall championship winner collects another £1,000, with special prize money for the co-drivers and mechanics. Last year, Richard Burns picked up nearly £6,500. And today, he was going to be in the money again. He cruised home in 16th position overall in the York National, and in the Peugeot Challenge, a full minute and a quarter ahead of Steve Eggleston, who now moves up into second place in the overall competition. Up at the top, Steve Bannister in his trusty Escort won the York National for the 4th time, despite this little performance. But it's interesting to think that if it hadn't been for those little Peugeots in the lower places, the event might not have taken place, and certainly would not have been the success it was.